Aloha mai kako, and welcome to Inspired by Aloha, a podcast dedicated to making your day a little brighter by showcasing that inspirational people and acts of aloha surround us every day. My name is Erin.
And I'm Amy.
And I'm Shireen.
And we are so grateful that you've chosen to spend a few minutes with us as we get ready to be Inspired by Aloha. Aloha mai kako, and welcome back, everyone. Today we have a very special guest who I hold near and dear to my heart, especially because I've had the honor of knowing him for nearly all of my life. This special person is a local Hilo boy from Mokuʻokeawe and now has found himself down under in Australia, where he is doing amazing healing work and helping people find their peace within themselves and with one another. He is an international speaker and a relationship specialist who provides emotional healing counseling and courses. He conducts week-long live-in retreats, both in the United States and in Australia, and maintains an introspective blog about life, faith, and love. I cannot wait for him to share his mo'olelo, his story with all of you today. Please join me in welcoming my cousin, my awesome cousin, Keala Thompson.
Oh, thank you, Erin. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you for being here today. So I think we're going to just kind of start from the beginning. I know you have an amazing story to tell, but if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, like please share your story of where you come from and how you came to even be this international speaker and relationship specialist that you are today.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Hilo, and I was raised right next to the Wailuku River, which is Pi'ihonua, and grew up jumping off the rocks, swimming in an army pond, and come from a family of 8 of us, 8 children, and my mom and my dad, and my mom was a teacher. My dad worked at the plantation. In fact, my dad and Erin's dad were very close.
Yeah, and super close.
They actually grew up together. They did have a hard life. My dad was telling me stories of how they pretty much had to fight literally to survive. They grew up apart, were on the streets in Honolulu as teenagers, down Chinatown as well. And but they pushed their way to get out of that situation, and they both enrolled into college, University of Hawaii, Manoa. But they couldn't afford to pay for the tuition for both of them, so they decided, and Erin's dad decided to drop out of college to support my dad to college. And talking about Aloha, right? So I just think about it every time I think of my cousin Erin, just the love that her dad showed to my family and my dad. And so because my dad pushed forward and he became a civil engineer. Back then was not too many Native Hawaiian civil engineers, so he was traveled all the islands, working all the different plantations, and he settled in Big Island in Hilo. So that's kind of like that background where I came from. You asked about like how this journey, yeah? Is that what?
Yeah. Because like, how long were you in Hilo? You stayed in Hilo through your adult life, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much. And then I went away to school to California. I've been away a total of 6 years in California as well, school in Hawaii as well. But then I started pastoring. I did a year associate pastor on Maui. And then I came back to the Big Island, and I pastored for 15 years as a senior pastor in Kohala. Then I was in Honokaa. And then I went to Puna. And 15 years. And then I got sick. I was on medical disability for like 15 months. And before that time, I was traveling. I started to travel a little bit and speak because I had done like a series on relationships, and a website posted it, and then I somehow went viral. And so I got to get speaking engagements on the mainland, especially in California. But when I got sick, I don't know what happened, but at the end, my speaking engagements requests tripled. And so we decided, rather than going back to pastoring, let's go to the next phase and let's go travel full-time speaking.
Wow.
So I started speaking in the United States and internationally. And we did that for another 5, 6 years or so until we came to Australia here in 2020 in March for a speaking engagement, actually. We're going to be here for a month. But then we got stranded because COVID hit. And I said, I thought we were going to be over back in Hawaii. I'll be home in like, 3 weeks. And people said, no, you're going to be here longer. I said, no, I'll be home. But about 4 years later, because we did get stranded. And then while stranded here, we decided to start our business called KT Advising, which deals with like counseling and personal advising and a mentorship program. Because our donations, we were supported by a lot of people's donations when we're doing full-time speaking, but that during COVID and we weren't traveling anymore, started to drop. So we need to start our business, and we started doing personal. So that's kind of been our journey where we're at, where we did like passing over the church has been an experience, traveling internationally has been an experience, but also one-on-one and dealing with people and helping them individually has been another aspect of our experience here. So.
Wow. So Keala, so you do mentorship and counseling and advising. Is it like one-on-one or small group or?
Yeah, different things. So yeah, there's one-on-one. Online you're talking about, right? Yeah, online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Online one-on-one personal, or we do couples as well. And my wife and I, we work together as a team on this.
Oh, yeah. That's nice. And then you also have the retreat, the Healing Rain retreat. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, that kind of slowed down after COVID, but we're starting again next year. Start up again here in Australia. Yeah.
Nice. And what is that? What is the Healing Rain retreat?
Well, it's like we're going to talk about Aloha, like love is a power. We believe that love is a power that actually heals, and Aloha is a power that actually heals. And so sometimes you may tell people about what love looks like, but like there's one person I was telling when on my traveling engagements, I was sharing with them about what love looks like. But he said, I hear what you're saying, but I don't know what it looks like. And he kept saying it over and over. And he said, I don't know what it looks like because I never experienced it from my family. Mm. And so we decided, we need to have like an environment where people can not just hear about it when we talk to them about it, but they need to actually experience it, like a living program, to experience what Aloha looks like, feels like, an experience to be like. So we started that. That's the reason why we started it.
That's so awesome. It sounds like you've really come into yourself. Like you kind of found like your purpose. Do you kind of feel like that?
Yeah. It took me a while, a lot of dark places in my life and hard times. But I think that's all has prepared me for what I'm doing right now. Yeah, definitely.
So how did you choose that path to become a pastor or to start off as a pastor?
I guess when I went to school in the mainland, I didn't know really what I wanted to do. I was like a professional student. I've been in college for like 10 years. Everything you think about, I was in psychology, sociology, physical therapy, occupational therapy. I mean, everything you can think about, I was dabbling into every aspect. And I think only like one course away from different degrees.
Wow.
And like, I wasn't really on that path. And I just hit some dark spots in my life, and that turned me toward God. And that really, Keala Core really helped me out during those times. And I turned my life on, went that direction. And actually, when I was going to university in the mainland in California, I was out of control and wild and very selfish in relationships that was very toxic. And that's why I guess I can understand toxic relationships and help people out. Because I was all of that. When I actually became a pastor, a lot of my friends said they would sit around the room from Hawaii, of course, they would talk about me, and they would just start laughing that I became a pastor and be on the ground rolling. That was the funniest joke ever. So that's kind of my journey that I went.
But through your studies, though, you were really studying healing, healing things, healing subjects. And so, we wanted to ask what kind of risks maybe or challenges did you need to overcome in order to get to this place where you are now and to do what you're doing?
Yeah, I think, my dad means a lot to me and meant a lot to me. And I loved him. a lot. He's passed away. And he was a great inspiration in my life. And this is how he came from this, like pretty much from rags to riches and the hard life. And though he had excelled academically and did well, became a civil engineer and financially became better off, but he still struggled with certain issues in his life, and alcoholism was one of them. And so that really, I think that was a dark spot in our lives, in our family lives that we had to go through. And then he changed his life. Like Keala came into his life and transformed it. He quit drinking and smoking as well and everything else. And he just became a kinder person. And that was the impact in my life. And I think that was a journey, but it wasn't for me. It was great for him, but it wasn't for me. But then I realized that there are patterns in my past that, though I didn't want to admit it, but it still was affecting my relationships. And I had a lot of unhealthy relationships. So I think I had to overcome those challenges in my life. And I feel that's what gives me, I guess, a lot of confidence more so in helping people, because really I want to help people to overcome whatever they'll be going through, because I felt that I myself have gone through the same thing. And that has helped me. That helps me out a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of like you had to go through these different experiences in order to be able to relate and help others, through it.
Yeah. I mean, education is great, and reading a lot of books are great, and I love reading. But all of those things, and even all the things I experienced in my life, it doesn't really prepare you as much as you coming through something and coming out victorious at the end, like getting through it and going through the challenges and breaking free from the control, the fear that has in your life or whatever it is you're going through. I think that's the greatest thing that has given me success and confidence in what I'm doing more so.
Yeah.
Wow. So you talked about you were pastoring in different areas on Hawaii Island, and then you had opportunities to speak, and then you had opportunities to speak all over the place. So was that from just word of mouth, or people hearing, or testimony, people receiving their healing and new directions on life, that you start getting calls saying, hey, you can come over here and inspire us?
Yeah. I think what it was is that like online, the websites, but that did a lot. But I think a lot was when I would travel to a speaking engagement and say, like, it was like a youth conference, and say there's hundreds or there's thousands of people there. And there's like youth leaders of different churches, So I think it spread that way because of the speaking engagements kind of bred more speaking engagements.
Yeah.
Because leaders speaking engagements. That's kind of how it worked.
Have you found over the years that the young people today, like when we were young, we didn't talk about our feelings, right? Well, we all had parents that said, suck it up, right? Like, your life is fine. What are you sad about? Or there's nothing to be upset about. But today, like for all of us, Shireen in HR and we're in education, we see young adults that aren't afraid to voice their struggles. But they're not necessarily getting the help they need. So do you see that in your practice now, where this younger generation is more open, I think, to figuring out, how do I get better?
Yes, this generation, Gen Z, is so self-aware. If you look on TikTok, I mean, there's so much things about mental health on there, like, and they're so much more aware than even their parents. They know a lot. When I talk to them about mental health issues, they're totally tracking with me. They're very interested and very hungry for it, very much so.
Yeah, there's almost like a permission to talk about it more today than it was when we were younger. Yeah. So with everything that you've done, speaking engagements, healing retreats, and personal advising and mentorship, what motivates you to continue to do the work that you do today?
What motivates me, I think seeing the changes in people's lives, to me, has been the best thing that motivates me. The lives that's been transformed and changed, and the growth. and marriages saved, or, people coming out of the struggles and deep darkness or despair they're going through. I think those are the things that really, really motivates me. I think one of the things that really helped me a lot was when I was pastoring in Puna. They call it the Wild Wild West. Yeah, it was like some of the things happened and they're like, wow, you just wouldn't believe what happened out there. But you really had to go through a lot of challenges and really take a lot of big risks. I think when I was pastoring like other locations, is more like it can turn out to more like just maintaining the status quo and making everyone happy, because things are going pretty well overall. But in Puna, it's not like that. So you have to actually take big risks
Mm.
because of big challenges. Like you gotta just take it. And I think that's where a lot of times I took a lot of big risks, because that's the only way you can see changes or growth happen.
Mm. Yeah.
Did you work with a team, or was it really you going out there and talking to people and making these changes and inspiring others?
There is a team for like our program called Healing Rain, and they're our best friends. There are a couple here in Australia. In fact, we were doing a program here in Australia, and they live like half an hour away from us right now. So our best friends are here who work together in our program as well. And so we work a lot together.
So neat how things just kind of happen and things align, yeah, Kiala. And, I think back to, like, again, I feel very honored that I can call you Ohana. Like, I love your mom and dad, all your brothers and sisters. Like, we grew up together. And even when we are growing up, I remember, like, you and I, we would have, like, of course, we'd have to go to the clubs because we were both, like, dancers. We love to get out there, be one with the music. But we also, like, we would have these conversations that I would just treasure. And I always felt like I just could learn so much from you. You always had like just this deeper perspective on things. So in some ways, it really doesn't surprise me that you're this international speaker and that you're helping people and mentoring people, because I love what comes out of your heart and your soul. I love what you share with people. And this show is about spotlighting aloha. So I'm curious to know, like, what does aloha mean to you, cousin?
Yeah, aloha. Wow. I think I learned a lot from my dad, like more of the aloha he showed, where it was more like an unconditional type of love, where, and I say unconditional in the sense that you don't have to do anything to earn my love. Like, I love you as you are,
Mm.
without having to earn my love or to earn my respect. I love you because of the love, the aloha I already have inside of my heart that I want to give to you. Um, Rather than like, okay, you better earn my respect, or
Mm.
you better earn my love before I'm going to give it. It's a different type of love, and I think that's because not all love has the power to heal. I think conditional type of love doesn't have the power to heal. More the unselfish, unconditional type of love has the power to heal. That's what I've seen. And so that's my definition and what I've seen. And I think we can be in a room of 1,000 people, and everyone has a different picture of what love looks like based upon how they've been raised, what was modeled to them, what love is. So we
Mhm.
can be in a room of 1,000 people, and everyone has a different picture of what they believe love is. And so I just see that the love has the power to heal is the unconditional, which is my definition of what love is.
Well said, cousin. Well said.
Mm.
Your father, it sounds like he was the teacher, first teacher for you of love, what love was, what love is. So, are there other people in your life, or kumu or mentors, that helped you learn more about aloha and then shaped your identity now as a Kanaka Ovi?
Mm.
Hmm. Yeah, another person that impacted me was Auntie Margaret Machado, and Narita, the healers in the practice of Lomi Lomi. She's passed away, Auntie Margaret. But just learning from her that healing is in the hands, and aloha comes out from you through your hands to the person to heal them. That was very powerful. And we're not just talking about physical healing, we're talking about emotional healing, spiritual healing, And she believed in Keala and God's love coming out through her and healing people through her. So that had a great impact upon me as well. And so when I was asked to speak at one time for the Hawaii Lomi Lomi Association annual conference on healing, spoke about how love flows out to us to bring healing to people. The true aloha that can heal anxiety, can heal fear, can heal depression to that aspect.
Mm. Wow.
Do you do Lomi also?
No. I was taught it, but I don't. I mean, I know a little bit. Yeah. I guess where we're at right now is that I'm more focusing on the one-on-one we're doing, but also we started a program here in the community in Logan, Australia, called His Space, and which is for men, where we have groups where we teach on certain topics. Like we teach about, speak about suicide, or we speak about domestic violence, or anxiety, or fear, or toxic relationships. The last program I spoke on, the topic was colorblind, missing red flags in relationships. So kind of that kind of subject with the men only, because we thought that men a lot of times they just stuff things down. They're like more so unaware of their emotions. From young they've been told like, just be tough, boys don't cry, just man up. So because of that, they just hold down a lot of the emotion, and can be like a soda can is shaken, it blows up at certain times. So just kind of being able to a safe space where they can come to and share, and that's been going really well. And we have a Let's Talk where men and women get together and we talk about certain subject as well. And so that's been our main focus over here together. So that's what and we're going to be doing a live-in program with a healing rain with them in the future. So that's what we're starting up next year. But that's like a live-in where, like, how does it look like in a day-to-day where we're eating together, where we actually have a work program in a sense where they learn some kind of skill, life skill during the day as well. And how does that look like interacting, working with somebody? Then we have classes on healing as well. So not just classes all day. We have group sharing, we're interactive, a safe space. What does a safe space look like in a family environment where people can be transparent and vulnerable without being judged and be helped and supported in whatever they're going through?
So I know you were doing this before COVID. So in a live-in program, is that a long-term thing, or is that where you're building a community, or is it a place to get healed, to get into a better place so that you can return back to your family or community that you came from?
I think it's a lot of times is for them to experience a healthy environment, opposed to maybe what the only option they knew growing up, that maybe it was unhealthy. I think in order for a choice to be a choice, you must have at least two options. And the only option someone knows is maybe the unhealthy model they've known their whole life. That's what they're going to revert back to this generation. So generational cycles of abuse or unhealthy love being revealed to them and practiced out in their relationship with their spouse or partner. So you want to give them another option, and maybe so now they can see it and they can actually choose it more so. Of course, with deeper issues, there needs to be a longer term work upon people. And a lot of times this maybe starts up the conversation or brings more self-awareness to them that maybe, I need to begin this journey of healing more so, because it's only going to be like a few days that we're going to be doing it next year. We've done up to 10 days, but even then, that is not going to be a solve all kind of program that solves everything in 10 days. It's really like give another option for a choice, as well as giving some tools, as well as helping to be more self-aware of where they're at and where they need to go.
Well, even getting people to move in that right direction is transforming. And it must be so rewarding to see people's lives transformed and improved. Or even just an awareness of, wow, that relationships can be healthy and good for me.
Yeah, totally. That word rewarding is really what it is. Yeah.
Wow, awesome.
I want to go back to your his space and let's talk
Mm-hmm.
sessions. So I love especially the idea of the his space, just creating a safe environment for Kane to come together and just kind of talk. What made you decide to go in that direction and to even create that opportunity?
Ah, I'm a big follower of trends. So I follow trends, kind of in a sense, predicting the future, kind of like how I'm in Australia in the future.
That's right. Yeah, you're tomorrow from us.
So the emotional healing trend had started like in the early 2000s. That's why it's so popular today. Hollywood pushed it in the movies. And as the saying goes, as California goes, so goes the nation. So California sets the trend. But as another saying goes, as Hollywood goes, so goes the world. And
Mm.
even in Australia, we're like, that's what I like about Australia. I felt like I went back into a time machine like 20 years ago. And I feel like people are more trusting, more, this more
Wow.
simple, friendlier. And that's why I really love it because it is much more peaceful in that sense.
Mm.
Thanks.
So moving that direction. And then the latest trend I feel in that is that it's almost like we're like the year of the men now. Like there was in the past been the Me Too movement,
Mm-hmm.
but now it seems like there's a switch. Like, wow, okay, men can be taken advantage of, and men
Mm.
can be abused. And I think men are open and hungry, and man, they're hungry here. When we come together, it's not quiet because it's very interactive. Like the way we run it, I'm not speaking the whole time. It's very interactive where we do small groups. Um, and a lot of Pacific Islanders around here. That's where we're at. And they actually ask a question, they discuss it, and they're right into it. They get right into the groups and they start talking and answering the question. They're very interactive. And then we come back and I ask them each group to share. And then I would share a thought, a principle that I want them to learn. And then go back into breakout groups like 3 times during the night. They're very open, very vulnerable. And I think men really, really want it and they hunger for it.
Mm.
That's what I've seen. I think I learned that I done men's retreat in the United States and in Hawaii, and I saw that men, they always open up.
Mhm.
I feel like they open up way more when they're just by themselves. And I'm not gonna say this, just don't misunderstand me, but I feel that
Mhm.
when there's women around, it changes the whole dynamic.
Mm.
Mhm.
Somehow men are afraid of women in that sense of being vulnerable and transparent for many different reasons. But I think
Mhm.
it's very healthy. That's a good question. Very
Wow.
good.
Well, good for you, cousin, for creating places where people can speak their truth, and even creating like the Let's Talk, where you do bring, you know, partners together to talk things through. That's very inspiring work. And it's clear that you do inspire others in the work that you do and just the way that you and Yvette live your life together. So I have a question like who inspires you're inspiring all these people and helping and healing all these people. Who inspires Keala Thompson?
Um, Definitely my faith that inspires me a lot. When I try to think about who inspires me, I can't think of one person. I just think of like, it takes a village to raise someone. I just think of so many people that I'm so grateful for in Hawaii, in the mainland, in Australia, different places that have been such an inspiration to me and encouragement to me and supportive of me. There's so many people. And so I just think about, yeah, I'm very blessed, I feel, to have such a good support system and a good community and a good village, I think, in every aspect to support me in what I do. And so I think that's really what has made me. I think I'm very much into that connection with people because that's so important. I feel especially today, and like people to me, in my mind, people are the most important thing. Like relationships with people is the most important. I think I thrive on that more than anything else. So I'm just very grateful for the community that does inspire me.
Mm. In every area of your life and any place that you've been, it's
Mhm.
like it's like God continues to bring people into your life that continues to inspire you to continue moving in all different directions. I think it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I was telling Amy and Shireen a little bit about you before we were talking, Keala, in that I think you've always been, especially in our adulthood, you just really go with the flow. Like your faith is strong, like you just trust that, hey, things are gonna work out as they should, and you just have this calmness about you that I'm gonna be placed where I need to be placed. And I've always really admired that, about you, especially as you've grown into this purpose in your life. So it is inspiring to me, very much
Yeah,
so.
thank you. I think what gives me that peace when things come up and changes happen, I think is because I felt like I've gone to a lot of dark periods in my life. Kind of like when COVID happened, it was really like a crisis for a lot of people. But I feel like, man, I had my COVID so many times before. It's like when the COVID came, I'm like, okay, this is like, oh yeah, this is easy in a
Yeah,
sense.
been there, done that. Bring it on.
I'm stranded in another country.
I know, right?
No income here. I'm like, you know what? This is like not my first rodeo, man. I've been through worse. I felt like, okay, I can deal with this. I'm just gonna make it a long vacation for me.
That's the right attitude.
Yeah. 4 years
Yeah.
later.
I'm still here, enjoying it over here, the Sunshine State.
Was that your first time in Australia, or had you been there before?
Yeah, I've been here, yeah, several times. Like,
Times.
Yeah,
And so
like
to
five.
be stranded there, you had to really not necessarily dig into your connection skills, right? Your relationship building skills to create now a new network of people.
Yeah. I'm kind of the person that goes with the flow of how things work out. I don't try to force things to happen or make it happen. Some things I feel like if I'm called to, I'm going to do it and be focused. But it's an aspect of like even making the connections, I just wait till it naturally happens and people introduce me to people or things happen or they help us out or but having our best friends here and helping us, navigate everything and support us here and get us connected with people, we even find us a place, they found us a car we could use for free. I mean, just stuff like that.
Nice.
This helps us out in so many different ways. It's such a blessing. So it happens to be that way. Yeah.
Now worked out, or it continues to work out too. So it sounds like those were acts of aloha that were shared with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so do you have a story of what you do and what through your, I don't want to call them businesses, through your missions, I should say, have inspired others to live fulfilling lives?
Yeah, I guess I'm involved in different things, but like we do have a business that we have online, the KT Advising, that deals with the counseling. And we also have a community programs where that's all volunteer. What we do is everyone that's involved is volunteer, and people help sponsor and they make donations to make it happen. So I've just seen in different ways of how that's been inspiring to me and rewarding. And the people we work with online, it may take a while to work through things, but there's a woman in the West Coast of the mainland contacted us and wanted healing from unhealed trauma from the past, from when she traveled to a foreign country, and it was affecting her marriage, affecting her own peace, where she had anxiety and stress and fears. And so we're just working through that and helping her at the end, where she felt free from those anxiety and stress and fears and depression. And then she realized that her relationship with her husband wasn't good and the marriage wasn't good. So she then dragged her husband into the sessions for the next year. So the first year was with her, and then he came in kicking and screaming, and then I don't know, like he said that he didn't even, I said, we can help restore the love you had and build communication skills. And he said, he came to the realization, say, I realized that I never really even loved my wife.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And then after that, working for a year, at the end, he said, asked him, do you love your wife now? How much do you rate your lover? And he said, I love her like a 10.
Mm,
So this scene that changed
Wow.
that, you know, and this like
yeah.
restoring marriages and reconciliation, you know, like a ho'oponopono, just bring it all
Yeah.
together. And then applying the principles of how to raising the children. And then the next level was for her, and then for her marriage and her family. And now she just entered the online mentorship course to learn how to help other people now. So now to see
Wow.
Yay.
how to help other people,
Yeah.
help them experience healing. So yeah, just that journey.
Mhm.
Wait, so
Very
Kiala, so you have programs where like people attend, they can talk things out, they can kind of heal themselves, heal their relationships, and then the mentorship program is when they learn how to be like coaches for others. Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what we do.
That's terrific.
Yeah,
What a way to give back, right? Just a way like to the reciprocal actions of aloha. So, well, that's wonderful.
Wow.
yeah.
extension of the work that you do, getting out there in the world. That's amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
What's that word we used before? Reciprocity. Right?
Mm.
Watching that aloha aku
Reciprocity.
aloha mai, right? Giving and receiving, giving and receiving,
Mhm.
and that aloha continues. Wow, that's a
Yeah.
great story.
Yeah.
I
Right
love
on.
it. Right? And then if that never happened, there might never have been that awareness and realization by the husband, right? Like, wow, I've never
Yeah.
really thought about this relationship. You know, we just got married, you know, and to
Yeah.
watch that build and transform to a genuine
Like
relationship,
authentic
right?
love.
Like
Yeah.
like it was always there, but he had to find it
Mhm.
within himself.
Yeah.
Wow. Are you gonna write a book next? Oh, sorry, I'm jumping
Ooh,
ahead.
you should write a book, Keala. You should write a book. I'll buy it.
So powerful.
That is
That's great.
wow. Wow, that is awesome.
Seriously, you should write a book about your life experiences, Keala, and how it came to be like everything you've encountered seems like your preparation for what you're doing to help people. So you can kind of be like, I get you, I see you, I've been there, I've gotten through it, you will too, you know?
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I've been asked to write a book several times. So like, oh yeah,
Oh,
maybe this is a
see?
perspective. Other people say you should write a book about emotional healing, you know, how to have healthy relationships. But I think more like where I've been to, it can be more like an inspiration to people to give them more hope, I think, more so.
Yeah, write your story.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, that'd be good. And then we go bring you back to Inspired by Aloha when it's published,
For
and we
your
go
book
talk about your
launch.
book. Yeah, yeah. For your
I
book
do have a
launch.
booklet out here in Australia because one of the TV programs here, they interviewed me on domestic violence and asked me to write a booklet. So they produced it for me and put it out
Wow.
on domestic violence here. It's called Incredible Journey. This is the most watched Christian programming in Australia. So I have that, but to have something more like a personal testimony, I feel like people, they have a lot of doubt, a lot of fears. I feel when they hit that place of darkness, and they're in a place of hopelessness where there's a lot of giving up.
Mm.
So something more that will inspire them, that maybe someone who's been in a dark place, who's come out as well. They need more stories of that, I feel. That'd be very encouraging.
Right. Well, we think that the journey of your life has been diverse and exciting, challenging, but ultimately rewarding. What advice can you share with others who may also have a dream or a passion to make a difference in the world and better the lives of other people?
Yeah, people, that's good to have a dream and a passion to help other people. I think how to do it is, on top of that, it's good to have a specific dream and a specific passion of what to do. And as a difference, meaning that like something specific, like what is my specific dream? If I have a specific dream, I feel that's a calling. Like that's something that like has been given to you to do and to follow through with it. And I think more so like what is it that's out there? What is the needs I feel? I think finding more so like who you are, your identity, maybe what is your purpose in life, who you are. Discovering what is your purpose is so important because there's so many needs out there. But if you can find out, okay, what is your specific purpose to do, then you have a passion for that purpose. Then you're going to have a love for it. And that love, the aloha that drives it, is what gives it the power to become successful, I feel, rather than doing research and finding what the needs are. And I mean, this is my perspective, I think, to find out more what you are being called to do. It can make a greater impact if you love it rather than you just doing it because there's a need or some other aspect that you're doing for, or someone else wants you to do it, or it's a program that's running. I don't know if that makes sense, but just focusing on what is your specific dream and your specific passion.
Is that why you named your is it your blog that's A Loud and Clear Call?
My
Where
website.
did that name Yeah, your website. Where did that name come from? A Loud and Clear Call.
Oh yeah, somebody one of my administrators before when I was pastoring mentioned that and said, yeah, you give a good clarion call or a loud and clear call is a verse from the Bible. So I just kind of use, oh yeah, make it loud and make it clear. So that's how good.
That's good advice because I think you hear a lot of people like, well, I want to help. I want to help people. Or you hear of a ministry or you hear of a program that someone's doing and you're like, wow, that's so awesome. You know, and I should feel like that too. But maybe that's not your call.
Yeah. I think people have told me that many times. They say, I want to do what you do. I want to copy what you're doing. Tell me how you do it. And I said, I let them know, like, no, be you. The realm I'm at right now, where I'm at right now is that I felt like I went to the pastoring phase, which was really good for me. I learned a lot. I went to the traveling and speaking phase, and I felt that was good for me. But I'm moving away from that. And I'm doing a one-on-one, which is really good because I really learned what are the real issues. And that's been really good for me. But I feel the phase I'm in right now is more the mentorship phase. Like I want to equip and empower people now. I think that's where I'm at right now. I want to, in a sense, reproduce myself. But only good stuff. So in doing that, so we actually started a series here on how to create and give presentations. I've started that class here. And now this is the Logan is the area we're in is actually a socioeconomic depressed area, which is like the hood or the ghetto over here. And when I started this class, and this is a pilot class, about 8 students came in, guys and girls. And so we're going to start at her space because girls are starting. We're going to train them because we're going to plug them into the programs that we already have to speak. We want to get them to speak, but we want to train them correctly. So in the first class I gave was confidence. And that if you don't have confidence when you speak, you really don't have anything. And in order to get that confidence, you got to have a passion for a subject. Once you have a passion, like whenever you give like a topic, you got to have some kind of evidence to back it up. People may use scientific research. They can use the degrees and whatever positions, but the most powerful one is actually your own real life experience. That gives the most powerful evidence to back up your topic, your body points, in your body. So find your passion. What subject you want to talk about? So I gave a class, and then I invited them over to my place for one-on-one to actually help them create the presentation. So last week they came over to my place, and the first person that was going over and helping him he's an 18-year-old youth who actually was an ex-gang member here that escaped the underground. His message now is that he wants to help other youth to not go down that road where he came out of. So that's what he wants me to help him make a presentation for. So I'm helping. So I want him, that's his message. And I tell them, look, don't try to copy me. Don't try to imitate me. People say, I want to remember what you told me how to say it. I want to say it how you say it. So don't do that. So you need to say in your own words, because that's where the power is at. Like you can all reach people I could never reach. Like that's your story. So helping him do that. Another girl shared how she overcame. She's 16 and she's going to speak too. And she's shared about how she overcame anxiety, depression, and suicidal thoughts from love as well. So she wants to give that presentation. And a mother wants to share about how she changed her home from not being a safe place to becoming a safe place for her children so they won't suffer alone through whatever they're going through. So just a safe place is a powerful topic, Young people reach young people the best, with their own topics. I feel empowering people and equipping them to be able to do what their passion is. That's kind of where I'm at right now in mentorship and passion.
Wow.
I love that. I love the fact that it's empowering people to say that your life experiences and your stories are powerful, and just you existing and talking about it will help someone else. And I think that's so true. Like we're academics as well here. And so everything we do is, like you said, Keala, has to always be backed up by research and by studies and so forth. But how powerful is it to say, I've lived this and this is what I've learned from it.
Mm-hmm.
And in turn, it empowers others to say, what's your story? What's your authentic truth, and how you can share that forward. So, you seem very comfortable in and very inspired in the work that you're doing right now. So it seems like this is it. This is, at least for this part of your life, this is where you're meant to be right now. So with everything that's going on, what do you see as next for you? What's next for Keala Thompson in just maybe in your work, in your life's purpose, or what do you see on the horizon for you?
Yeah, I'm just focusing, I guess, on the present. I don't see anything, because sometimes I make my plans and then things just totally change. But I like what I'm doing. I feel like where I'm at right now in the mentorship, and we just kind of started that now, just like a month ago. So I'm very excited about that, I feel. I want to go more in that direction on mentorship. I have a small group in my place of my close friends, my best friends, and some other people where I am sharing with them and want to pass on what I know to them as well. So I'm just really into that. Besides the online mentorship program, the small group in my home, and the community program mentorship, the volunteer program in the community, I feel that is where my emphasis is right now and where I want to focus more and get more into.
Awesome. And staying in Australia?
If I can, my visa expires in 2 months, and hopefully can get it renewed again. So I heard it gets harder as the years go by. So hopefully that I can stay longer.
Wow.
I'm sure your family misses you. They're like, come back to Hilo. So come back home. So.
Well, my sister, my brother, my nephew, and nieces, they're coming to visit me up here in
Oh, that's great.
in November. Yeah, so we're gonna go up here,
Oh,
the reef, and then we're going to New Zealand as well. I'll come back and then come back.
Oh,
oh,
nice.
I love Aotearoa. Very good, very good.
So I love that and the work that you're doing. What final words of wisdom would you have to share with us?
I would say, as for anyone, like we're talking about, really discovering, okay, what is your identity? Like, who are you? What do you love to do? What is your purpose? And discovering that, and then moving that direction as well, and getting the confidence from that. And I think maybe also starting just wherever you're at to start. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be like reach a certain goal and then you can start. Because that will really never happen. Because you have to just start where it's at, and things are going to get better as you start. I kind of present to like our clients and to people that try to be present in everything. Try not to focus on the future, being anxious about the future, or worry about the future, stress about the future, living in the future, or even going back to the past of what if this or what if that, but more so focus on just what's in front of you at the moment. Because if all the energy is focused on what being present, you're going to accomplish a lot. But if you live in the future, the past is nothing can happen by living in those ways. So focus on the present, and I present this thought of like, stop always thinking about the end goal and wanting to be there now and being impatient about it. Because that's one of the biggest self-sabotaging things out there, to think that way. Because either it's going to be you're thinking about the end goal and you're like, oh man, I'm not there yet. So I get discouraged and you're going to give up a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Or you burn yourself out trying and then you get burnt out in the end. But just focus on the present. I have a saying that I kind of made up that goes, the end goal is the present. So
Nice.
focus on being present in the moment. And I feel that
I
can
love
really
that.
help you become successful in whatever your passion or dream is.
That's so good.
That's
Good
so
advice. Yeah,
wise.
just being present and feeling everything and experiencing everything to get you through to that next step, the journey, right? It's not about, they say, right? Not necessarily about the destination, but the journey or the process that you go through to get to that end
Right.
goal.
Right.
Yeah, like love the process, love the journey. Like that's where I think we tend to not do that. We're always focused on the future, how it's going to be like. Even in parenting, it's kind of like, oh, I can't wait till my daughter can walk, and then I can't wait till she can feed herself, and I can't wait till she can bathe herself, and then finally when they're gone, like, oh man, why did I always think about the future?
That's right. Yeah,
Right?
they grow up so fast, right?
You
Yeah.
wish it all away, kind of. So yes, embrace it. Embrace the moment. I love that.
I love that.
Words of wisdom.
So Keala, how can others learn more about your organization and the services that you have?
Yeah, if you're interested in personal advising or our online mentorship course, we have KT Advising, which is ktadvising.com. You can make a booking there. Or we have a ministry called A Loud and Clear Call, and that's at loudandclearcall.org. You can go there, and it's actually a nonprofit 501c3 organization. People can make donations to as well. That supports all our efforts, like in the community where we all volunteer and work for. So
Nice. Wow.
That's awesome. For decades now, Keala, I have been in awe of you. I love you so much. I learn from you every time you speak. And we're just very, very happy and humbled that you chose to share your story with us and our listeners today. So thank you for being here, cousin. We love you so much. So
Yeah, we're so grateful.
yeah, keep on doing the good work that you're doing. And again, so that's ktadvising.com. Is that right? ktadvising.com. So for advising, for counseling, for mentorship opportunities, just so that people can lead a healthier, happier, healed life. So thank you so much, Keala, for being here. Wishing you the best in your work and the best to you and your family always. So kia kuapu, and thank you for being here today. And thank you everyone for listening.
Yes, thank you everyone.
Thank
Hui
you.
ho.
Hui ho, ma lama pono.